I'm from Athens, Georgia, a classic city, you know.
Still reside in Athens today?
Yeah, man. Still out there, man.
Certain part you represent of Athens?
Certain part, man, nah, I represent myself. I represent myself.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Now, if somebody's not familiar with Athens, Georgia,
Yeah.
and maybe somebody's familiar with Atlanta,
Right.
how far is that?
So Athens is about an hour away. Shit, it actually took me an hour and 6 minutes to get here.
Okay.
For one. And, you know, it's a pretty small town and shit, but, you know, we got the college there, University of Georgia, all that shit. That usually brings a lot of people and shit on the fucking weekdays or weekends.
Now, somebody watching this might say, you do music.
Yep.
Atlanta is a huge music city.
Right.
Why aren't you living in Atlanta?
Well, first of all, I feel like it's important to take care of your home city first and then move on to bigger things. You know, I love Atlanta. I'm up and down in Atlanta and stuff like that, doing some work here and there. But the fact of the matter is, I just feel like I want to put Athens on that hip-hop scene, you know what I'm saying, and bring a movement there, because we got a lot of things in the work, really, with my team and with my label. I actually own a label, so, you know, we just pushing it that way and trying to bring that facet of the city up first before, you know, we move on to bigger things.
Got you. But it could be something that may happen in the future.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, Atlanta's a beautiful place. You know what I'm saying? You can't go wrong with Atlanta, but at the same time, I'm always going to have a place at home, you know?
Now, speaking of home, what was it like for you growing up in Athens? Can you paint that picture for us?
You know, it was cool. I was always playing sports, so, you know, a lot of times I was out of the way of, like, foolishness and shit like that, but, you know, my parents were, like, real into the community, working hard in the community and shit, so I always was at community events. That's how I got to know all my friends and shit, and, you know, we actually fucking go through a lot of shit because there's just certain facts about Athens, like as far as like the education system and you know, the poverty and stuff like that within Athens. So, you know, we have problems, but I you know, definitely try and stay near and clear, because it's just like when you playing sports, a lot of people just have a different respect for you, you know what I'm saying? So they don't really try you on no bullshit. But it's like once you get involved with that street shit, then you start seeing a whole nother realm. Like, I done dealt with some shit, you know, niggas coming up to my door fucking trying to break in and all this shit, but, you know, all that shit get handled and stuff.
So you got involved in the street sort of things at one point in
Yeah,
life.
man. Actually, it's pretty funny because, you know, I really just be chilling. Sometimes shit just be coming to you, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard to just steer near and clear, especially as black men. You know, you always gonna be involved in something, you know, whether it just be knowing a lot of people hating on you or some shit like that. Like, I remember one time I was chilling in my apartment, you know what I'm saying? I got the fucking blinds open, just looking out, you know, looking at the scene, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to see what's going on outside, and I just see like unfamiliar face or whatnot, you know, nothing that most people will really take into consideration as a threat, but I was like, fuck it, man. I was with the homies. We was like, fuck it. We gonna see what the fuck is going on with this nigga. He just looked out of place, you know what I'm saying? Just looking around and shit. We don't know what he doing, but, you know, we on some neighborhood watch shit. So anyways, I go down, you know, walk down behind the apartment or whatnot. You know, we trying to be discreet and be, you know, safe or whatnot, but, you know, we still, you know, it's Georgia, man. You gonna have a strap on, you know. I mean, I got my fucking concealed carry license, so shit, you know, I'm gonna have it at any given moment, because I really don't know what the fuck is going on with niggas. Like, I done had guns in my face before this, so I'm like, man, I'm not even gonna take no risk. I'm gonna just make sure that I'm safe. So anyways, I fucking come up around back of the apartment. My homeboy came and on some flanking shit, and my other homeboy was in the car, because on some real shit, it just looked like some shit was out of pocket. We walk up to the nigga, he like, oh yeah, you know, what's good? All this shit, we talking, he talking about he like a blood or whatever and shit. We just like, he like, y'all got bloods out here? I'm like, nigga, You know, we got some niggas who be playing around with that shit, but we don't take them niggas serious like that. You feel me? I mean, not saying that niggas ain't blooding out there, because I really just fucking went to a blood party a couple months ago, but, you know, it's like, it's more on some brotherhood shit out there than niggas getting hot. Niggas trying to get money, niggas trying to, you know, feed their families and shit. I feel like that hot shit is like in bigger cities, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, we chilling, we talking to the nigga, he like, yeah, man, I'm from out of town, whatever, you know, just saying a whole bunch of shit. And he was like, but I ain't like the way your homie came up on me and shit like that. So it was like, man, he really just asked for a cigarette and asked what the fuck he was doing around here. So anyways, you know, we didn't really think nothing of it after that. We was like, oh, man, the homie cool, you know what I'm saying? He's straight, whatever. Later that night, I'm fucking chilling in my apartment, and I'm watching the fucking presidential debates and shit, because I'm on some, you know, I'm trying to understand what the fuck is going on. I just hear a knock on my door. I'm like, man, what the fuck? So I'm like, I'm not really expecting nobody. I open the door, like, you know, on some crack. You know, I keep my foot behind the door because we don't have no reinforcement type shit on our doors. But I keep my foot on the door, and then he just 2 pistols in my face talking about some run that shit, nigga. I'm like, nigga, what the fuck? So, like, he basically, like, tried to put his fucking arm in the door. Bad move, because I'm fucking slamming the door on his fucking wrist. I know I broke his shit, because he dropped the gun and everything. So, you know, it's just shit like that just come to you, but you not really out here seeking for it. He probably thought I had some shit, you know what I'm saying? Or he probably thought I was the other dude who had pulled up on him. He was like, you know, some like real small Arab dude and shit like that. I mean, he's my homie, but he's like not intimidating, you know what I'm saying? So he probably thought it was like on some shit like that. But I had a friend who went to West Georgia, rest in peace, Tyler Ford. He got killed on like something real similar. Like a nigga came to his door and he wasn't even like on no shit. He just shot a nigga in the face. You know what I'm saying? And that was something big for us, cause you know Tyler, he was involved in shit, but he was just really just cooling. You know what I'm saying? Like he was always playing ball and shit. Like he was cool, but that shit impacted us. So then when I seen that shit happen at my door, I'm like, oh hell no, I can't be no fucking Tyler Ford, you know what I'm saying? Even though, you know, rest in peace to my nigga, but I can't go out like that, you know what I'm saying?
Street activity obviously has some consequences.
Facts.
That can stem from that.
Exactly.
And we'll delve into all these type of aspects a little bit later. But let's take a step back.
All right. What
led to street activity for you specifically?
Like I said, man, it just be coming up on your doorstep. Come up on your doorstep. You know, everybody's looking for something. Everybody's looking for a come up, whether it be on some shit that they think you have or on some shit that they know that you have. You know what I'm saying? So if you're a person like me, I'm always having shit. So it's like a nigga will real live come into your house, you know, act like it's all cool and, you know, break bread with you. You break bread with him. And then next thing you know, you got $200 missing. And it's like, you know, and 200 not even a lot. 200 is really not even a lot. But that's what I said, man. It's hard to trust people because it's not even niggas who just doing this shit. It's bitches too, because, like, I don't fuck with a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Respect to my females and stuff, but at the same time, you know, a bitch is a bitch and a hoe is a hoe. You know what I'm saying? It's like the fucking personality types, they blend with each other, you know? And I had woman, you know, come straight in my home, you know what I'm saying? And we on some relationship shit. And next thing I know, it's $10,000 missing. So you like, damn. You know I ain't misplaced that shit. So what, you know, and that's not even per se street activity, but that's the type of shit that lead to street activity, you know? Because I could be on some crazy shit and retaliate in a negative way, but I'm always on some mental, perceptive shit. So I see through the bullshit, you know what I'm saying?
I got you. I mean, you did mention that earlier, but I guess I was asking more like, you know, some people hustle, some people hit licks, some people do these type of things, but there's a reason behind it why they may have entered that lane.
That's a fact.
So I guess that's what more or less I'm stemming from. If you could pinpoint as to, you know, how you got into it or what age maybe you started.
Yeah, I always been a hustler, you know what I'm saying? From selling candy at school to, you know, fucking selling sneakers when I got older, candy in middle school, sneakers in high school. So that's really what everybody knew me for. I had the kicks, and I was just dishing the kicks off, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, at some point in time, the kicks don't pay the bills, and, you know, when shit come hard, you know, the fucking, the 2008 market crash and shit, you know, that shit hit a lot of families, and it was just not, you know, it wasn't just poor people, it affected everybody, you know, middle class, all that shit. So
The recession.
yeah, exactly. My family was directly hit by that shit. My dad lost his job, you know what I'm saying? My dad lost his house, you know what I'm saying? Like, we lost everything. Like, shit, I'm coming back from school, and there ain't no crib no more, you feel me? So it's like, damn, like, shit happened that fast, and like the people that you work for or whatever in corporate America or fucking even the government, they not gonna have your back, you know what I'm saying? Your retirement gonna run out 2 years max. You know, 5 if you did really good, but if you haven't had that elongated career where you could build up a couple million, a few million in retirement, like 401k shit, like, nah, you lose that job and your mainstream of income and you ass out. So, I mean, you always gotta, you know, delve into different type of things and have extra sources of revenue, you know what I'm saying? And make that turn into something that could build an infrastructure.
As far as the street activity path, you took it upon yourself to go that route?
Took it upon myself. It's kind of funny that you say it that way because, yeah, I mean, everybody who goes that route, they choose to go that route. Everybody who does that shit, you know, I'm honest with myself. You know, I know that what I was doing was not the right way, you feel me? That's why I've been on this music shit. That's why I've been, you know, building that way. But it's like, sometimes you'll get involved on some small shit, you know, trying to help a homie out. And you're like, damn, homie paid me $20 to help him out, you know, and then that's when the cycle just begins, and then you just in a perpetual amount of situations where, nigga, you don't know where up is down, and sometimes a lot of niggas who ain't upright, they could lose their moral code, you know what I'm saying, moral standards and shit like that. But, you know, me personally, as you can see, I'm all about doing good business, so it was never on no moral shit, you know. I always honor my word on some shit, you feel me?
Can you pinpoint what age you were probably when the recession hit?
Okay, so it's funny how my fucking age works up, because I was born in 95, so it's like ever since I got, what is it called, in like high school, it kind of lined up with my age, but the recession hit in 2008. Yeah, I was in 8th grade, so I was probably like 13, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, if you take the 3 and the 1, it turns into a half 8. So, it's, you know, it's just like symbolic shit that line up with my birth date, you know, because I'm an Aries. I'm not even into the astrology shit, but at the same time, some of that shit has some credence. So, you know, I mean, and it hit hard, and that's kind of when we start seeing, you know, different type of lifestyle. You got to scale down and shit, you know. Got to eat less. And I come from a big family. We had 6 kids in the house, so, you know, it was always a matter of feeding everybody, you know.
Were you the only one in the family that went the street route there?
Nah, man. Shit, man. My brother in some bullshit right now, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, we on 2 different paths, you know, like, we on 2 different paths. It's just funny how the shit worked, though, because it's like all the shit, at the end of the day, when you get arrested, it's public information, you know what I'm saying? So anything that pertains to arrest, everybody could look up, you know, and that's the type of shit that carries on to some other shit. Like, you know, when I got banged up, I was not even in the fucking state. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, that shit carry over. It carry over every time.
You ended up with a charge.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Were you able to beat it?
Beat it? Nah, I took a plea deal. And, you know, got that shit reduced. See, the funny thing about, so the thing about how I got caught is I got caught on a possession charge, right? So I'm going through fucking, what's that shit called? Border stop, you know, in South Texas. Damn near on the line of Mexico. So they're trying to catch illegals. They're trying to catch all these other shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm trying to do my thing on a fucking Greyhound, you know, just going back and forth and spreading love, you feel me? But at the same time, it's like you said, all that shit have a risk. All that shit have a consequence. So I'm on a Greyhound, you know what I'm saying, just chilling. Boom, we hit the stop. My homie even told me the week before, hey, man, you got to try and find another route. But the situation that we were in, it was a desperate situation because my other homie got banged up and he got 3 fells. 2 of my homies got 3 felonies off that shit, like trying to, you know, spread love and shit. And they was coming back, you know, they got stopped and they got fucked up. But it was like on the northern route, you feel me? So, you know, I'm fucking damn near in El Paso, about an hour out from El Paso. I get stopped at the border stop, you know. They fucking end up checking my bags, boom, dog sniff me out. You know, the K9 unit, these motherfuckers ain't stupid. So I get arrested. I'm sitting in the border patrol stop. They going down, you know, we gonna see if the DEA takes the case, ICE take the case, they go down the list, you know what I'm saying? But the amount that I had, it was a lot, but it was like, it was 12 pounds, right? But the amount that I had, it was not enough to garner that type of attention, so they gave it to the county, you know what I'm saying? And I go through the county, man, and I'm sitting in there, I'm like, man, I gotta find another route, you feel me? Like, this shit, I called my dad, he like, man, how much did you have? How much money was it? I'm like, oh man, fuck, cause I know Pop's hurting and shit. So I'm caught up in there and I'm just talking to the homies in there, you feel me? I mean, they ain't my homies. I ain't gonna say they my homies, you know, in the jail, but it's just like, once you get in jail, you have to spread that community, you know. At the same time, it wasn't no disrespectful shit, you know. I don't know about most of the prison system, but where I was at, it was on some straight shit. And we was just talking in there. He's like, man, yeah, you got to find another way. Other people telling me their stories. One of these niggas got banged up on some crack shit. Another nigga got banged up on some coke shit. So I'm like, damn, all y'all niggas in here for a reason that, you know, is different from mine. But at the same time, you know, we going back and forth with the shit. It's like, we can't just be going back and forth with this jail shit. So when I get out, my homie bailed me out on some shit. And, you know, that's when I just started hitting the music even harder. You know, it just gave me a different drive with it. So, you know, and that's when I started getting shows, finding other streams of revenue. So I just want to say it's other types of ways to do this shit. But when the nigga get caught up in that shit, you get caught deep. You feel me? Like once you start owing niggas and shit, you know, that's the point where it gets a little dangerous, you know what I'm saying? Because people want to bless you. People want to make sure that you good and that you happy, but at the same time, niggas want their money on time.
You did take a plea deal. Did you have to serve any jail time?
No, I didn't. Thing about hustling, at the same time, it's like you can get fucked up on some shit. At the end of the day, if you smart, you could just pay a fine and eventually it'll go away, you know? And I feel like that's a fucking kind of opportunity that we have in America that you don't have in other places. Other places, they'll put you in that bitch. And whether, you know, their jail system is fucking more lenient or not, they'll have you in on some funny shit for a long ass time. You ain't getting no bail. You know, you gonna have to do this, do that. You know, they'll make you jump through hoops here as well. But, you know, money solve problems. Money solve a lot of problems.
Now, you did mention there are other avenues, such as music and so on and so forth. But hindsight 2020,
right?
When the recession hit and you decided to take the street route, street activity route, hindsight 2020, was there any other options, or was this the only option for you at that time?
Well, there were other options. You know, a nigga can get a job. I worked at Steak and Shake, you feel me? I was flipping patties and making milkshakes. I was the best milkshake fucking maker in that bitch, to be honest. But there's one thing about when you work for other people, you gotta abide by their standards. You know what I'm saying? You know, I took on many hustles because I got many talents. So, you know, first I started off cooking, you know what I'm saying? Making milkshakes, cooking in the Steak and Shake. Then I'm like, nah, man, fuck this shit. Actually, the manager, he was like, I had just got my ears pierced and shit. He was like, nah, you can't have earrings. So I'm like, I can't even cover them up with no Band-Aid or nothing. He was like, nah, you can't do it. So I'm like, shit, fuck it. You know, I quit. So, you know, I'm still selling sneakers at this time and shit like that. At the end of the day, I was like, fuck it, man, I need to find another way, Boom. I'm like, you know, let me try fucking with the football team, shit like that. So I tried out. I made the team, you know. I'm rocking football, shit like that. But when you come on and you walk on and shit versus having a scholarship, it's just like the opportunity is not as big for you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm taking the football route, but at the same time, I'm hurting. I got to pay my tuition every fucking semester. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, shit, man, a nigga is hurting out this bitch. So, you know, you just have to find other ways to make money. Then fucking bills start to pile up and you like, man, you know, I got to do something to where my fucking family ain't hurting on some shit. And that's really where it take you to. That's when you start getting into some shit where, you know, you fuck around and can't go back, you know, in a certain sense.
As I mentioned earlier, there are consequences. You face some of these consequences.
Right.
Obviously, there's a certain level of stress
right.
with this type of route. They're looking over your shoulder feeling with this type of route.
Yeah.
Violence, which you've experienced at the beginning of this interview.
Right.
Possible
multiple
robbery.
Instances. Yeah.
But the one you shared was an attempted robbery on you.
Right. Yep. Yep.
You have faced some sort of incarceration.
Yeah.
You were able to beat that. You were able to escape that, but you did face that. And by the way, was that were you a juvenile back then?
No.
That was as an adult.
Yeah.
The charge when you got that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Worst case though, out of all the consequences one could face, death.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You overcame that. Obviously, you're alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you face that though?
Yeah, I mean, it's like different because when two pistols in your face, you like.
I guess at that point, yeah,
way.
that example
Exactly.
satisfied that. Yeah.
Like that, and then like multiple instances where, like, in this, it really didn't have no fucking street shit to be involved with, but it's just like, I feel like the energy from the streets kind of carried on to where I might just be looking mad on some shit. You know what I'm saying? And I'm driving down the street trying to go home. And, you know, I'm at a stop sign. We still in Georgia now, you feel me? So it's like, it's not just street niggas that you got to worry about. It's like crazy ass white folks too. So I'm driving down the street. And I stop at the fucking stoplight, chilling. You know what I'm saying? Like, I might have a fucking blunt on me on some shit. And that's it, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not trying to hurt nobody, you feel me? So I'm gonna stop at the stoplight, and it's like a random fucking act, but it's like two fucking white dudes have pulled up at the stoplight. Boom, they just pulled the straps on me immediately. On some shit, like I look just like a clean lick or some shit. So these niggas fucking pull the strap on me. I'm like, you know, I'm just looking at him. I'm like, yo, you feel me? What are you, if you gonna shoot me, you gonna shoot me, you feel me? So it's not nothing that I can do at that point, you know. I was strapped as well, but you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you gotta leave a strap in the trunk. You know, you're not really thinking about a motherfucker pulling it on you while you driving and shit, you know. So, and all my guns is legal, you feel me? So I can have my guns and shit. So that's not no problem, you know what I'm saying? It's not no problem of riding dirty and shit. It's just a fact of the matter that when you got big guns, you got to put them in the trunk. So anyways, they pull a strap on me and shit. They just like, you know, racial slurs. Ah, you nigga, what the fuck is you doing? Like, I got a BMW and shit. They like, oh, what the fuck are you doing in the car? What the fuck are you doing in this car? You know, on some crazy ass white boy racist shit. I'm like, cool, whatever. I'm just looking them in the face, you know what I'm saying? If they gonna do something, they gonna do something. I'm just gonna try and react before they react. You know what I'm saying? So I just revved the engine, you know what I'm saying? And they got scared. They got scared on some shit, so they just shot, you know, on some scared shit just because I revved the engine, you know. Got 6 cylinders in that motherfucker, so it's gonna make a noise, you feel me? So, and the fucking bullet just like, it was damn near like I seen that shit in slow motion, like that shit just shot right across the window, like, and it's like, I had my fucking windows open and shit, and it's just like, obviously the fucking speed of the bullet is crazy fast, but it just felt like slow motion, and it's going straight through the fucking window, you know what I'm saying? And then that's when I'm just like, man, anything can happen anywhere. At the end of the day, it's all about, you know, how you approach the shit and how the fuck you react. After that, I just take off, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, fuck that shit. You know, these niggas busting off some scare shit. Most likely they weren't trying to do no shit, but at the same time, like you said, when you playing with the shit, that's what the fuck be happening.
These different obstacles of consequences, did you know all this stuff from the jump before you got into it?
Yeah. But at the same time, you know, everybody feels like they're different. You know what I'm saying? Everybody feels like, oh yeah, nah, you ain't gonna touch me. I'm fresh, I'm clean. You feel me? Like, I'm good. Like, we good, you feel me? But, you know, once you get touched, then you like, man, the consequences outweigh, you know, the amount of money that you get from the shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's when that wisdom gotta come in, like, it kick in, you know, different instances where you fucking around and owing a nigga 20 bands on some shit, and he trying to come collect, and you don't got it because another nigga tried to rob you on the other end, you know what I'm saying? So it just be shit like that, man.
How'd you escape that?
Man.
Or how'd you deal with it?
It's funny because, you know what I'm saying? I don't take no drugs. I don't use no drugs. You feel me? Sober as can be. And, you know, I fucked around and took an edible one night. You know what I'm saying? Just like celebrating, like, man, life is good. You know what I'm saying? You want to celebrate. You want to cook out. You know, a lot of events that go down in the city, you know, I'm a silent donor. You know, I finance shit. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, parties and all these other shit, you know, we cater out there, you feel me? It's a big party city, so, you know, we gonna party every Saturday. When the game comes on, we fucking partying, you know what I'm saying? So, at the end of the day, but, you know, I like to watch, I like to let shit pan out, you know what I'm saying? But when you got your finger, you know, and you the pulse of the city, and you making shit happen, you making moves happen, you making parties happen, you become a target in a sense, and it's like, you know, the way that you gotta get out of situations where you owing niggas crazy money, you just gotta keep active. Like, the way that I dealt with it was funny, because like I said, I took the edible and I just had this crazy dream. I had this dream where just like everything's just falling apart. You know what I'm saying? And like, I wake up and on some real shit, like, this is the first time I ever felt this feeling but like it felt like I was so low, you know, so rock bottom that I was gonna shoot myself in the face. And obviously I wouldn't do that shit because I love life and shit, but it was just like that mixture of drugs, you feel me, and going to sleep on that shit, and the edible's just strong. It was 180 milligrams, like pure THC shit, and it's just fucking you up. And that's just where the fucking mind took me, you know what I'm saying? So I had a dream basically foreshadowing the event where I just lost everything, and sure enough, shit happened. You feel me? Sure enough, the shit happened. Damn near exactly how I dreamt it. Like it was fucking crazy. And that's where all the, you know, feds came on, like all this fucking extra shit, you know, niggas facing charges off some shit that could have been prevented, off some shit like if I would have just took my intuition and took it to another place, you know, the shit would have been different. Like, when you owing fucking dangerous ass people a lot of money, it puts you in a different mindset. Like, that's why I'm always trying to find a way to, you know, relieve myself. I work out and shit. I got fucking, you know, I'm personal trainer. I got a fitness page and shit like that. Like I said, other sources of revenue. We got our posts on the city, so I'm meeting hella people along with the music, along with the podcast that I do. It's just different avenues to get out of that shit, make money so that you can pay niggas back and not have them on your back. But damn sure, I mean, niggas was showing up for their money for real, and I done had some fucking heated sit downs where, you know, it was like when other people doing you wrong in a sense, and then it's hard to get financially straight on fucking 50 bands, 20 bands. It's hard to get back to that point when you hit rock bottom, you know, but at the scale that we did it, man, I feel like, you know, nobody can have a comeback like my team. Nobody can have a comeback like the Autumn Saints, you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody can have a comeback like our affiliates, because, nigga, when I tell you, there's motherfuckers at my doorstep asking for some money that I ain't had, bro, and this ain't the fucking IRS, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, we trying to be safe and cautious at the same time, but you gotta show respect, and respect is paying people what they owe. Respect is, you know, having some dignity on your word. So that's what we had to do.
Didn't run off on the plug.
Oh shit. Ain't no running off on the plug, man. Ain't no running off on the plug, man. Hey, you can run off if you want to. There ain't nowhere you can run. Ain't nowhere you can hide. You feel me? And that's all I'm gonna give it to you, man. Cause you know what I'm saying. It's a lot of powerful people in this world, and it's just like a lot of niggas who stay on the ground with this shit and could have some shit go up missing and nobody blink an eye. I mean, your family gonna be upset and shit, but at the end of the day, you know, it's ways to clean shit up. And, you know, if you got money, if you having it, you can clean shit up in many different ways.
Any regrets?
No. No, because what I've learned in life, you can't regret and you can't forget. So you just have to sit in on the shit, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, sometimes in high pressure situations, I'll be dealing with anxiety and shit, you know, but a lot of times when you're a businessman, you can't let it show, you know? You can't really fucking allow a fucking outside source or the fucking enemy to know that you're sweating, you know? And it is what it is. Like, you can't regret shit. You can't go back and say, hey, man, I'm mad that I didn't do this. I'm mad that I didn't do that. You have to live in the now, and you have to take now and be like, hey, man, I'm finna push this shit to the next motherfucking level. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not finna sit in this and wallow in this, you know what I'm saying? And even though you dealing with shit, because a lot of niggas deal with this shit through drugs, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people will just take a pill, pop a pill, you know, smoke a blunt, drink their life away, you know what I'm saying? But when you actually sit with that shit and you experience these shits sober, or on some shit where your mind is not inebriated on some shit, I feel like it hits you harder than if you was on the fucking drugs. Because on the drugs, you trying to suppress that shit. But when you sober, you feeling every inch and every piece of the situation, of the scenario, of the pressure that's on you. And, you know, that's when it starts to feel like, that's at the point where, you know, a nigga will be like, man, I regret this shit. I regret doing this shit. But, you know what I'm saying? I'm here now. And, you know, I have a real big wave behind the music and shit. And niggas in the city fucking with the music heavy. And it's like we can tap into a source that has not been tapped into yet from the hip hop side. So I'm rocking with it like that.
As far as your parents are concerned, was the first time they found out you were involved in street activity was the border situation, or did they find out previous to that?
Yeah, it was that situation. You know what I'm saying? I'm a real closed off dude. You know what I'm saying? Like I really don't give out my business. You know, people know me for what they know me for, and then, you know, I'm just around the community. I'm shaking hands. You feel me? I'm talking to people. I'm training people who grew up in my city. You feel me? So it's other avenues of hustling, and I'm doing all these other shit. So niggas fuck with me for that. You know what I'm saying? More or less than the street activity, but the niggas in the street, they know what the fucking deal is. You know what I'm saying? Like they know, you know, on some real shit. Like who's you know, pushing cars, pushing levers, you know, turning shit over. And you know, when my dad found out, he was tripping. You know, my mom passed away when I was 8 years old. So you know, I'm sure that, you know, she would be disappointed, but at the same time, she would want me to do what's best and make sure that I find a way out for my family and shit, and get them straight in a financial situation.
Did your dad try to stop you? Did he try to persuade you to do other things after that moment?
Well, the thing is, I was involved in so much shit anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm involved in so much shit anyway that it was like, you know, when I got arrested, he was like, man, you know, you need to get out the game. You need to get out the game. And I'm like, you know, I feel you, but when you got debts and shit, it's like, shit. You know what I'm saying? Getting out the game is getting out the game. You feel me? So you got to make sure other niggas are straight first. But you know, we balance our books. So at the end of the day, you know, we don't have to involve ourselves with that shit no more. You know what I'm saying? Because with the label and shit, it's pushing heavy. So it's like I'm signing artists. I'm fucking mixing and mastering music, and I rap, but I also mix and master my own music. So, and then I mix and master all the other artists' music in the city. You know what I'm saying? So it's respect on that level, and additionally with you know, what the fuck I was involved in, and a lot of niggas just, you know, don't understand what the fuck we've been through as a group, you know, and as an individual, as myself, as Keaton Mak, you know what I'm saying?
Just thinking back though, reflecting one more time, hindsight 2020, I think you said maybe the answer to this question, but I'll still ask you this question anyways, point blank, so if I repeat myself, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
But was it worth it? Was the risk worth the reward, or what you got out of it?
Well, the thing is, the situation that I was in, I managed very well. So being in those situations, high pressure, you know, niggas trying to rob you, niggas trying to take what you got, niggas trying to do all this other shit. For the way that we got up on the city, I mean, it's kind of hard to weigh, because a lot of times the benefits do outweigh, you know, the negatives. And while I was doing that, and while I was involved in that shit, you know, which I'm no longer taking a part of, but when I was doing it, it's just like, shit, man, like it's like you really just be like, man, what the fuck, man, nigga, I'm having it. Like, niggas respect me, niggas do this, do that for me and shit like that. You know, it's some niggas who ain't paying me back, but man, shit, we ain't even worried about it. You feel me? Like, you know, when you living good, you're not really taking and weighing the negative. So if I was to say, if it was worth it, you know, it's worth it if you fucking, you know, can cover your costs at the end of the day. Like, if you're looking at it as a business, if you covering your costs, covering your expenses, and, you know, creating a revenue source, then you, a real capitalist would say that shit was worth it, man. Like, shit, the government out here selling drugs, distributing drugs, and they say that shit is worth it. So it's like, at the same time, you know, an individual, they gonna get punished for that shit. Whereas as a fucking government entity, you're not gonna take no strikes. You might take a little media pressure, but niggas ain't going down for that shit. So, I mean, as far as my punishment, I paid my dues, you know, financially. I paid the state of Texas. So, was it worth it? I mean, a lot. At the end of the day, I made a lot more money than what the fuck paying a fine for getting arrested, to be honest. And well, you know, you hire a good lawyer and shit, but I wouldn't encourage no other people to do this shit, because a lot of niggas don't got the same mentality that I would, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got other shit going for me, so it's like I got sucked into that shit. But, you know, I'm in school and I'm doing all this other shit, so it's like I got other shit going for me. So that may not end up being financial from the start, but it'll build up to that shit. So at the same time, I would just say, if you fucking involve yourself in some shit like that, where you know that niggas is willing to fucking kill you over a dime, over a dollar, or niggas is willing to fucking rob your crib over a dime, over a dollar, then just know that if your foundation ain't strong, you don't got no infrastructure, then it may not be worth it for you. But as far as my situation goes, I benefited from it mentally. You know, I handled a lot of stress, high stress situations, whereas if I had not undergone those situations, I wouldn't be the man that I am today.